Hello everyone, welcome back to Cloud DevOps YouTube channel, and my name is Manoj Verma. In the previous session, we have seen if you want to become a cloud engineer and if you selected to go with AWS Cloud and what all DevOps tools that you need to learn as a part of your cloud journey is something we saw as a part of the job descriptions that are available. But today I would like to show you what are all the DevOps tools along with the cloud you need to learn to start your cloud journey. Okay, so in this session, in this short video, I would like to demonstrate in India and US market, if you see cloud engineer roles, what are all the additional skill set that they look for is something I would like to demonstrate. So in the previous session, we have discussed that in market, 75 to 85% of the market and 75 to 85% of the jobs are majorly on AWS cloud. And if you're a newbie and if you want to start your cloud journey, so I would suggest AWS is one of the right choice because AWS have some great documentation, and along with that, AWS have high number of job market. So in case if you are serious about the job aspects, and if you're a serious job aspirant, and choosing AWS cloud will give you some right platform. And at the same time, so if you learn AWS cloud, learning other clouds is also not a big deal. So majority of the times the namings would change, but rest of the things it remains the same. So since we decided to go with AWS Cloud because AWS is a major player in the market, now I would like to show you what all tools that are very famous in the industry that are highly adopted and in almost all the job descriptions that you see. So if you want to become a cloud engineer or a DevOps engineer or a cloud DevOps engineer, what all something you need to know? Let's try to talk about it. Okay, so these are the list of tools that you should know to become a DevOps engineer along or a cloud DevOps engineer. These are the tools. Okay, so without Jenkins, you would see 90 to 95% of the jobs, okay, times you would see Jenkins. Jenkins is a very famous CI/CD tool, and I'll cover a separate session on what is CI/CD. But Jenkins is one of the highly used. And next to that, and if you are managing servers in your infrastructure on your cloud infrastructure, and if you are having huge variety of servers, we don't do any of the things manually. Instead, we go with something called as Ansible. Ansible is one of the most famous configuration management tool, and if your infrastructure is not server based, it can be container based. What is container based? So container is something where you can run infrastructure without the need of whole operating system. So there are two types of infrastructure. Either it can be server based or container based. In the container based, Docker is highly adopted and highly used. And if you are using containers, we don't run containers directly. Instead, we run them on the top of orchestrator called as Kubernetes. So if you see any of the project is not of type server based, definitely 90 to 95% of the times it will be Kubernetes based. And you should know one monitoring tool and one dashboarding tool. So in the monitoring tool, in the monitoring space, Prometheus is highly adopted, and Grafana is something which helps you in displaying the dashboards. And ELK stack is something which is used to aggregate. If you are having thousands of servers, this ELK stack helps you in placing all the logs on one central server. And to do all these things, okay, we don't do any of them manually. Instead, we use something called as Terraform. Terraform is infrastructure as a code. Okay, what if I say, if you take 90 out of 100 jobs, you would see Terraform, Terraform, Terraform. Terraform is the most happening thing in the industry where you can create infrastructure in the form of code using Terraform. And Terraform is very, very easy. And you name any service, you name any cloud provider, they support Terraform. Okay, and in any job description they'll also ask you either some scripting, and if you are dealing with Linux based machines, bash scripting or Linux scripting or shell scripting is highly adopted. So along with that, add AWS cloud as your provider. Now I would like to show you, I bet 90% or 90 to 95% of the jobs in India and US, so if you see, you would see any of these things along with AWS cloud. For example, this is a job in this is a job in US or Bangalore. Let me click that, come here, and if you see this, they are looking for, what is the title? The title is AWS cloud engineer. So what they're asking, they're looking for experience in CI/CD tools like Jenkins, experience in Elastic Logstash, which I have mentioned, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, EKS, AKS, which I mentioned. And along with that, one configuration tools like Jenkins, okay, Jenkins or Circle CA, which I also mentioned, and should have knowledge on configuration management tools like Ansible. Okay, and they should have experience with Windows, may or may not be needed, and experience with GCP is a plus. So this is one job description, and this is another job description. This is based out of Bangalore, and they are looking for AWS cloud engineer. Okay, AWS cloud engineer, but they're also looking for someone who has experience in Jenkins, Terraform, and GitHub. Okay, and their application is Spring Framework. When you say Spring Framework, they are looking for deploying the solutions on the top of Kubernetes majorly. Okay, so just learning AWS Cloud cannot help you. So all these things are something which are needed. And let's try to take another job description in Atlanta, which is in United States. Even they are looking for a cloud engineer, okay, who have experience in, okay, if you see this CloudWatch, EKS, VPC, along with that Jenkins CI/CD. So they are also mentioning they need Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, Ansible, JSON. Okay, so everything, whatever I have mentioned, okay, so almost all the job descriptions that you see in India and US market, if you want to become a cloud engineer, okay, a AWS engineer or an Azure engineer, along with that, without knowing Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, Ansible, Grafana, Terraform, Kubernetes, it's a myth. You cannot, it's a tough thing to get a job. Okay, so once you are ready with AWS, you can start trying with DevOps, or there are a lot of course available. So if you are interested how to start with, I'm going to publish another video how to start. You don't have to spend 2.5 months in learning AWS Cloud and 2.5 months in DevOps. You don't have to do that. So if you are interested, we can share certain things where we are going to publish both of them together. Okay, if you come with a fresh mindset, we can help you the best possible way. But if you want to become a cloud engineer, ensure you know these cloud and DevOps tools. Okay, and is Linux mandatory? Okay, is Linux mandatory to become a cloud engineer, or is Linux mandatory to become a DevOps engineer, or do I need to learn Linux like a pro or an administrator level to become a cloud engineer? Is something in the upcoming session I would like to talk. Okay, thank you. If you like the content, please hit the like button and please do subscribe to the Cloud Careers YouTube channel. And thank you. Signing off.